since as a curse bearer they themselves would become a target. So it'd actually be more convenient for them if the curse bearers moved less aggressively. That's right, but despite that, they've been inciting the curse bearers to commit murders. Why? Let's consider this. What if the mastermind isn't trying to collect soul drugs themselves? You mean their intention was also to steal the souls, while the other curse bearers compete with each other from the start? Sitting back and observing from the sidelines is the safer course of action, which is why I figured it's best for us to attempt the same strategy. So how should we do it? There's still reason to suspect the mastermind could be a curse bearer themselves. To be honest, I want to keep my distance from whoever it is. There's no telling what kind of power they might possess. Whether our aim is to negotiate or steal, we'll have to outpace the mastermind in making contact with the other curse bearers. How do you suppose we do that? At this point, all we can do is search. If there's a mastermind inciting the curse bearers to collect soul dregs, can we be sure there even is a Rite of Resurrection? Good question. The rite could be nothing but a myth fabricated to spur the curse bearers into action. Seeing it might be for naught, do you want to give up, ma'am? Never. Understood. After all, we'll never know the truth unless we see it for ourselves. But we'll do it without using the curse ourselves, or curses ourselves. By the way, I met a few people who seemed like potential curse bearers last night. I did some investigating into all of them, but I only managed to get detailed information on 2. You're quick. I suppose that's to be expected from an investigator extraordinaire. I appreciate the flattery. First, there's Ayami Tono, the girl we talked to before, though she isn't a curse bearer herself. She's a student attending T University of Art. She currently lives alone in an apartment near Midoriko Park. You even determined her address. You're not one to be underestimated, Mr. Investigator Extraordinaire. I called every single university with ukiyo-e in the curriculum pretending to be her parent. I went around to check on her place on the way here. It doesn't seem like she returned home last night. I'm worried she might have run into some trouble. Didn't you attempt to follow her last night? I'm embarrassed to say, but I couldn't. She shook me. I couldn't keep track of her. And here I thought you were an investigator extraordinaire. I'd like to learn more about her, but it would take some time. She is planning to steal the curse stones just like us. It's best we act carefully around her. Next is the tall man who was dressed all in black. I met him near Kinshiko. He stood out with the way he dressed. I managed to get some good information from him. Impressive, what can I say? He works as a secretary to Heihaku Soap's chairwoman. I believe his name is Takumi Yamioka. The Heihaku Soap's headquarters and factories are both located in Honjo, correct? Yes, they've been here for a while, but it's only in the past 10 years that the company has shown significant growth. I remember seeing the chairwoman on the news a few years back. She seemed to be very shrewd. With the increase in sales, I assume she'd want her factories running at full capacity. But with the harsh restrictions against industrial waste, a lot of the factories with older equipment had to be shut down. That's right, even 10 years ago there were many complaints about chemical plants dumping waste into the river. Most companies back then were more concerned with making a profit than protecting the environment. I wonder what a man working for such a company would have been up to in the middle of the night. On the way here I stopped by the company's headquarters, but they hadn't started for the day. I should have better luck later. Let's hope you will. Perhaps they're interested in seeing if the rite would be beneficial for their product, research into beauty and skincare. Now that's an interesting thought. I ran into one more suspicious young man last night. This one seemed to be out collecting soul drugs, right? Indeed, I couldn't get a good look at him though, and I couldn't gather enough intel to properly identify him. Well, that's a shame. But I can make an educated guess. Oh? You know that researcher who discovered the ancient text on the Rite of Resurrection? The one that lives near here? His name is Hideki Araishi, and the man I met was very similar in stature. Oh my, even he is involved? How awfully suspect. Considering his background, couldn't he be the one who initiated the whole affair? I think it's possible, yes. Which is why I decided to refrain from making contact with him for the time being. Safety first. Understandable. Of course I want to learn more, but this isn't the right time to focus on him. I prefer to ascertain who else is a curse bearer. First I'll return to Heihaku Soaps to see the man in black. The headquarters are down on South that street. Hey, there we go. I learned something new about the criminal involved with the kidnapping. It concerns the serial killings. There was a body found at Komagata High School. The person who was identified as a schoolteacher. His name was Kohei Janucci. Do you think he was a curse bearer? Not sure. It's possible. But regardless, this means the two people who knew the truth about the kidnapping are both dead. Just when we're getting somewhere. It isn't enough to make me give up, of course. Still, we don't know anything about Michio Shiraishi's residence. It'd be wise to pay it a visit. Understood. In addition to the 3 victims associated with the Honjo serial killings, there's Michio Shiraishi, who reportedly committed suicide, and the police officer who died at the former Yasuda Gardens. If strange deaths continue occurring like so, they're bound to inspire strange rumours. But those last 2 have nothing to do with the 7 mysteries, no? It's true, both occurred a week before this accursed situation began. Still, it cannot be ruled out. It's possible that the mastermind was involved even with those killings. How? What if there were preliminary steps to awakening the 7 mysteries curse? Can we really assume they're unrelated just because the timing doesn't match up? Or rather, the police officer's death is so baffling that it'd be easier if it were connected to these curses. The victim wasn't the type to be caught off guard easily. You seem to know a lot about this. I suppose we weren't strangers. My personal feelings might be wrapped up in this one too. I see. If you were to investigate this matter more, you might get a lead on the mastermind. You're right. If we wish to focus on the mastermind's identity, this will be a fine starting point. We might even discover more deaths related to the curses on the way. We should pay attention to today's news. Well, that's all I have to report. Shall we continue with our investigation? What do you want to do? If you still can't use the curse stone, taking a walk should be a fine place to start. Right, let's go together. I want to see what's going on for myself. In that case, I'll trust you to decide on where we should go, ma'am. Okay, I can move. Woo! Bing. The Heihaku Soap's headquarters are on the other side of South Wari Street. They were closed when I visited this morning, but it appears things are up and running now. He tells me he barely slept last night, and yet he seems to be brimming with energy. Was I too that resilient at his age? Perhaps it's what sets apart a detective from the rest. First I need to confirm whether Takumi is the man I ran into last night. Then I'll be able to determine if he's a curse bearer. It'll be better if I go inside the headquarters alone. You should walk around, visit a cafe, for some tea perhaps. Okay. To think a small soap-making company could grow so much in such a short time. They have factories and warehouses throughout the area now. You can see why the director and now chairwoman Natsue Yamamori is called The Green. Oh. Heihaku Soaps, a chemical producer that ranks 4th largest in the domestic detergent market and 7th largest in the cosmetics market. From its humble beginnings as a small soap factory established after the war in 1946, founder Natsue Yamamori utilized her feminine perspective and a well-timed economic boom to boldly lead the company into new markets. Even as the market grew crowded with the industrialization of Sumida City, the company continued to expand, digging its roots deep into the area. In particular, it established itself as a household name by focusing its branding toward the rapidly expanding convenience store market. Its flagship products now include cosmetics, detergent, soap, shampoo, and more. The company's name Heihaku also refers to kazori, a type of patterned fabric. Oh. The Queen! Natsue is the former president of Heihaku Soaps, a large chemicals company. Though she retired from her position 2 years ago, she still wields a great influence over the company from her position of chairwoman. Recently, there have been rumors about her possessing strange and powerful magical abilities, earning her the nickname the Witch of Heihaku. Prior to the war, Natsue enjoyed working her dream job at a textile factory. Whoa. She was forced to face the bitter reality of the world, however, when the factory was destroyed by a fire during the war, and she was ordered to rework the fabric she had painstakingly crafted into something more suitable for blue-collar work. Witnessing the rising popularity of Western-style clothing in the post-war period, Natsue left the textile industry. However, a nod to her past can be seen in her company's name, with Heihaku being another name for kasori, a type of fabric featuring patterns and images woven with dyed fibers. Having long been dissatisfied with the soap supplied at the textile factory, Natsue saw a business opportunity and set up her own small soap factory. Taking inspiration from imported soap brands, She developed new products which quickly gained a good reputation. Even the shrewd businesswoman. That's why he ran an aggressive promotional campaign on TV featuring a popular Japanese singer rapidly turning Heihaku soaps into a household name. Oh. You mentioned that Takumi works as her secretary. That's correct. Do you think it's possible he's acting on her orders? That's exactly my thinking. A curse bearer with both money and power could certainly look at resurrection as their next prize. Negotiating with a person of that stature may prove difficult. Oh. I'm going in. I'm going to go in. I may be a while, so feel free... Feel free to find somewhere to kill time. Okay, good luck in there. And there he goes. Sorry, I keep you waiting. How'd it go? I'll fast forward to the conclusion. I met with Takumi. There's no doubt he's the same man I saw last night, but it doesn't seem like he's a curse bearer. That doesn't mean he has no connections to the recent curses. He knew about the Seven Mysteries. He even guessed we have a curse stone of our own. Excuse me? I tried to approach Takumi about a fallen item after I ran into him last night. However, you said your name was Richter, correct? I have a favor I'd like to ask of you. I'm hoping you would hand over the curse stone in your possession. Curse stone? What are you on about? There's no need to play dumb with me. In fact, there's no time for it. I had all the same reason you did to think you were a curse bearer last night, and your arrival here only confirms it. You are a curse bearer, no? You're right, we lack time. I'll confess I am a curse bearer. I possess the curse stone of the haunted clappers. I'm glad to hear the truth. Finally, this conversation is worthwhile. It's a dangerous item you hold. Give it to me and my company will take the responsibility to dispose of it. I didn't know the soap business specialised in scrubbing curses clean. It is the prerogative of Miss Yamamori. Is that so? Assuming you've obtained the curse, you understand the power it involves, no? Miss Yamamori possesses supernatural powers akin to those of God. She also has a deep love for this land, having transformed it from the pile of dirt it once was to the home of our headquarters. She cannot stomach the fact that it's now the site of these curses run rampant. So you're telling me the Queen of Heihaku is a real-life witch? She wouldn't appreciate being called that, mind you. There's a sorcerer by the name of Suigen Gamyodo, who's gallantly working behind the scenes exorcising spirits and the like. Go on. That being so, there have already been instances of the dead coming back to life. Do you understand the urgency of this matter? These are curses we're speaking of, tools which are used by wicked beings to possess people. The Rite of Resurrection is nothing but a fabrication meant to seduce the curse bearers into unspeakable actions. If you truly understand what I'm talking about, you must hand over that curse stone at once. Very interesting. With that said, just how many curse stones have you acquired so far? If what you tell me is true, surely the company would have launched a large-scale search by now. We have 6. 6? Whoa, I can rest at ease then. And here I thought I was at risk of being cursed. It seems we are on the same page. If that is the case, you should hand over your curse stone immediately. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but it's not actually in my possession at the moment. Considering its importance, I've been keeping it in hiding. Really now? Then I'll accompany you while you retrieve it. I'm sorry, but I've got something important to attend to, but I promise I'll return with it later. Very well. Then you won't refuse to provide your address and telephone number, I presume? How prudent of you. I'll oblige. And that's how it went. I'm glad to hear that. So they aren't after the right after all. I wouldn't be so quick to trust him. Oh? I believe we're dealing with a master in deception. He may well have made up a story to convince us to part ways with our stone. I think he was lying about having procured 6 curse stones as well. Like, really? 6? That's excessive. Well, now I feel gullible. The company is plotting something. I wonder what they mean to do with the curse stones. He seemed rather desperate to get a hold of ours, despite us not having collected any soul dregs. Perhaps the people at Heihaku are the masterminds behind the curses being unleashed. Because the chairwoman's a witch? I wonder about that too. If she really were that powerful, would her secretary have divulged that information so casually? Takumi was either making it up as he went, or he's trying to spread a rumour. For what purpose would he do that? Recently people have been caught up about the occult more than ever before. If word spreads that Heihaku's chairwoman has godlike powers, She could very well benefit socially and politically from that mystique. That's unsettling. Indeed it is. By the way, there's one more thing of interest I heard while in the company's reception lobby. And what's that? People were discussing whether one of the bodies found this morning was that of a Heihaku employee. Really? So long as the officials haven't revealed the identity, all amounts to no more than speculation, though. Despite that, I've reason to believe that Heihaku Soaps is deeply involved with the Seven Mysteries. At the very least, I can assure you I've gathered that much. The more we know, the better our negotiations will go. Should avoid Heihaku for the time being. It'll be a pain if I have to deal with Takumi again. I guess we're moving. Alright. Midoriko Park. We're here. This is Midoriko Park. Ayami Tono lives around here. She wasn't in her apartment when I dropped by this morning. Wonder if it's worth checking again. We won't get much done standing around here. Why don't I go and check out Ayami's apartment? You don't mean to speak with her, do you? No, I'd prefer to get an idea of what she's been up to. I'd like to see whether she's been home or not, just to potentially get a trace on her movements. Then be my guest. Okay, I shouldn't be long. I'm back, ma'am. So, nothing? I'm afraid so. She still hasn't returned. However, I noticed a few people who seem to be related to the police force keeping watch in the area. I don't know if they got eyes on her apartment, but they do appear to be watching and building it in. Interesting. Got a sharp eye to have noticed them, despite them being so covert. What can I say? It's part of the job. However, it's meant I had to refrain from knocking on her door while looking through her windows. I wasn't able to check her electric meter or mailbox either, unfortunately. You were planning to go that far? It's always heartwarming to see children playing in the park. Victor seems to like kids, perhaps because they're on the same wavelength. A bit mean? We won't make much progress sticking around here. I guess that's it then. What waste of time, we should move on quickly. Okay. To the school, I suppose. Ah, crap. So here we are at Ground Zero, Komagata High School. I guess it's logical that the police has got this place shut down. The teacher's body was found here, after all. It's as if the students have nowhere to go now that the school's closed. He appears to be wary of those police officers. Maybe the police really do have something against private investigators, just like in those detective novels. This place is said to be connected with the story of the False Procession. I wouldn't be surprised if a curse bearer decided to turn up. However, I need to find out if that teacher was a curse bearer or not. I expect the police to be baffled since they don't know about the curses. I can ask around and see what the students have to say. Sure, inquire. Alright, I'll go ask the students about Michio. I'm back, ma'am. So, what'd you learn? The school kids sure love good rumours. Sure love a good rumour. I was practically drowning in stories about Mr. Janucci and Michio, most of which seemed dubious, at best. Not surprising. Most of what I heard was hardly worth a second thought. But there was one story that caught my attention. Oh? Some believe that Michio is the one who killed Mr. Janucci. Really? The story's got two pieces of evidence to back it up. One of them wasn't news to me. Apparently he's been mumbling that Michio was going to kill him for some days now. A fellow teacher overheard his mumbling and told the students. And then it spread like wildfire, I suppose. Rumours that juicy don't stay a secret for long. As for the other piece of evidence, a pigtailed girl in her school uniform was seen at the school late last night. Go on. Although numerous people claim to have seen the girl, not one of them saw her face. Some were proposing it was Michio brought back to life, or that it was her vengeful spirit. But it's not like Michio's the only high school girl to wear pigtails. This rumour might have been made up just to fan the flames. But if it were true, I'd want to get a hold of her in order to hear her side of the kidnapping. If she's alive, that'd be ideal. There's still one more thing I should mention. I discovered where Michio lived. The student had a list of student addresses on hand. It's an amazing find. I believe all of the students actually have a copy of said list. It surely worries me how easy it was to obtain what should be confidential information. Imagine what would happen if that information got into the wrong hands. Well, so far it hasn't, no. Sure, let's hope it stays that way. In the meantime, it's now possible for us to visit Michio Shiraishi's house. And I guess that means we're leaving. Oops. I can imagine the students are uneasy after learning of the murder. It may do them well to stay home for some time, if not for fear of their safety. The police are probably too wrapped up in solving the case to be concerned about the students' mental health. I can see that. It's important the society provides a safe environment for the benefit of our youth. Some school policies could use some rewriting, especially those handling the students' personal information. That's right, I don't want a student being kidnapped on their way back home ever again. I expect criminals to grow more cunning as time passes, and there may be times where the authorities can't keep up. That's where outlaws such as myself come in. What's this about? Actually, just forget I said anything. Michio Shiraishi's house. How'd it go? I went to visit Michio Shiraishi's family home, however. No one seemed to be there. I got no answer at the door, and all the lights were out. It seemed to have been empty for a while now. There was a stack of newspapers out front. Social connections run deep in working class areas like this place, so I decided to talk to the locals. I met a few nice old ladies who were kind enough to give me the scoop. Turns out the Shiraishi's reputation really went down the dumps this past year. Is that so? I'll give you the quick summary. They moved here about 3 years ago. Their previous residence was in a better part of town. Michio's father died in a car accident, leaving behind just the two of them. Michio's mum, Toshiko, now a single mother, relocated here. At first they got along with their neighbours, many of which were in similar situations, helping and being helped in turn. So far so good. What happened? Well, as I said, their reputation began to go downhill about a year ago. A man recognised as Toshiko's common-law husband had moved into the household. His name was apparently Konkichiro? Iwai. Neighbourhood gossip is something else. Somehow, everyone knew his name. So what of this Iwai character? He was apparently a vulgar fellow with a criminal record. He was prone to violent outbursts. The neighbours often heard screams and shouting coming from the home. The neighbours took particular notice of Toshiko's screams, pleading with him not hit Michio. It's terrible. As if that wasn't unsettling enough, every night the neighbours also began to hear an eerie chanting. Through this, the Shiraishi's standing in the neighbourhood plummeted rapidly. Toshiko was often seen covered in bruises and wounds. If she stopped responding to her neighbours, she would just turn the other way when greeted. They kept their storm shutters closed even during the day and effectively shut themselves away from the entire community. That sounds horrible. Why didn't the police step in and do something? Unfortunately, under our current laws, the police aren't allowed to get involved with domestic disputes. It's awful. And then Michio reportedly killed herself. Things only got worse with Iwai, and Toshiko was admitted to the hospital for physical and mental abuse. Ever since, Iwai hasn't returned to the home. Many locals expressed sympathy for Michio's circumstances, but just as many were fed up with the Shiraishis entirely, and seemed relieved that things finally quieted down again. It seemed that they were still considered outsiders even after 3 years of living here. I don't understand it. Why would Toshiko have gotten involved with such a brutish good-for-nothing in the first place? I've heard many stories where one partner's personality does a complete turn after entering a relationship. After her first husband's death, Toshiko's financial situation had also taken a turn for the worse. She was determined to send her daughter to a good high school. It's possible she fell victim to sweet promises. Well, it can be tough, I suppose. You don't seem moved by the story, ma'am. That's fine, people have all kinds of stories. Oh, goddamn. Konchiguro Iwai. The common-law husband of Michio Shiraishi's mother, Toshiko Shiraishi. Konkichiro, even. Started coming and going from the Shiraishi household a little over a year ago. It seems he has served some time in prison, but the details are unknown. Oh, so you came here too. What is it? Could you repeat what you know one more time for me, Richter? Oh, I can't go any further. I guess we'll do fancy sushi. I can't do anything further for Hitomi's help, I don't think? Let's see if going to the school does anything. And so, nope. What if I went to a different area? Like... yeah, what if I go to, like, Ryogoku Bridge? And so... oh. Yeah, I get the feeling it's the same, no matter where I go. Yep, it's the same. Okay. And so... I'm trying the other two, just to know for sure. Oops. Yeah, it's the same. And so... oh man. It's nearly been 3.5 hours, so... now we get our final, and so... I'm wondering what the last curse is, though, because we only know about 7 I guess we only know about 8 of the mysteries. Yeah, I'll have a look over my files shortly. This has been good. The game is really not as much of a horror as it made out in the first, like, half an hour of the game. Or first hour of the game. Yeah, there's basically a jump scare whenever a person gets cursed, and that's about it. Been very, very light on the jump scares, which, honestly, I appreciate. And jump scares get old rather quick. Yeah, I wanted to look at the 7 mysteries. Wait, so how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 mysteries. Does it actually say who has them, or is that something else? I don't remember where this is actually under. Spirit Board, Paranormal Affairs? Nope. Ah, I don't remember what it is. Culture Society? Oh. Gameplay Guide. Okay, this is where they are. Oh yeah, I've not even thought to look at these. Approach the net. Whatever. So yeah, we don't actually know half of them. Wait, how many are listed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only 9 are listed. So yeah, we don't know who has the Taiko of Tsugaru. The Beckoning Light, I'm pretty sure that's the Secretary. The Whispering Canal, I don't know, but I would assume Yoko, I guess. I wanted to look at the Taiko of Tsugaru. Oh yeah, this is the one with the drum. Yeah, use drums. I don't know how the hell that's going to kill someone. If you hear the sound of a drum, then you're boned. Right, so I'll save this over swap too. Nice. Either way, really, I'm still really enjoying this. It's awesome. The game's just really good. Very captivating. But I guess next session we'll start Fancy Sushi. I've been playing the game for like 6.5 hours, so I'm not really sure how far through the game I am. maybe I'll be able to finish the game next session. We'll see, because that is going to be the end of the session. Thanks so much for watching, I hope you have enjoyed, and until next time, take care.